उद्घाट्य योगकलया हृदयाब्जकोशं धन्यैश्चिरादपि यथारुचि गृह्यमाणः यः प्रस्फुरत्यविरतं परिपूर्णरूपः श्रेयस्समे दिशतु शाश्वतिकं मुकुन्दः अमरी कबरी भार भ्रमरी मुखरीकृतं दूरीकरोतु दिरितं गौरीचरणपङ्कजं परस्परतपःसम्पत्फलायित परस्पर प्रपञ्चमातापितरौ प्राञ्चौ जायापति स्तुमः. We finished with Samasokti ஆரம்பிக்கணும். Yeah, Sahokti and Vinokti முடிச்சோம். Yeah. We start with Samasokti. The Samasokti is a very important alankara because you need to understand this really well for Dhvani. Later, when you study Dhvani either in Kovida or in Vidyabhushana, you have Kavya Prakasham and Dhvanyaloka for 5 and 6. So this is a very important section. Even if you are doing MA Sahityam later, you need to understand this alankara because this is one of the higher category of alankara which can be confused with the dhvani. So dhvani is suggestion. This also plays on the suggestive idea. So you need to understand that difference here. Anna, we won't go too much into it. We'll try. Samasokti parispurtihi prastute aprastutasya chet. Prastute sati aprastutasya parispurtihi chet samasoktihi. When there is a contextual vrittantam that is being described by someone, you also look at the person who is describing it, have that in the background, and there is an aprastuta that is understood, that is parispurtihi. There is an understanding of an aprastuta or a non-contextual idea. This is when you are explaining the context here, a non-contextual idea comes to the mind and makes the contextual idea much more beautiful. So you will have to come and connect it back to the vachyartha. That is when it is called Samasokti alankara. The example given here is Ayam Aindri Mukham Pashya Raktas Chumbati Chandramaha. Ayam Chandramaha Raktaha Chandramaha Pashya. Pashya, look at this eastern direction. Aindri Mukham Pashya. Look at this. In the east, there is this moon which is rising. Raktaha Chandramaha Aindri Mukham Chumbati. So moon is actually rising. He wants to describe that the moon is rising in the eastern direction. That's all. Indrasya Sambandhi Dik Aindri. So Indra is the ruler of the eastern east. So the face of the east is being, it is as if it is being kissed by the moon here as he is rising. So that's the idea that is conveyed here. But the vachyartha here is Ayam Raktaha Chandramaha. The Visheshanam here is Raktaha. Rakta, one who is red in color. But the word Rakta can also give the meaning of Anuraga Yuktaha. The moon which has so much of love towards the east direction. Aindri Dik. Aindri Mukham Chumbati. So it is actually touching the east face. But here the expression is such that he is saying he is kissing the face of the Aindri. Given that this is also in Strilingam and Chandramaha is in Pullingam, it brings up the image of a Nayika Bhava. In turn, if it is the Nayaka who is describing this scene to a Nayika, it also gives rise in the mind of the Nayika that this person, this fellow wants to kiss me. So that kind of an image is also brought up later. So with this, the prastutam here is only the description of the rising of the moon, which is the moon touches the face of the east. Whereas the idea that comes about is because of the words Rakta and Chumbati, Rakta meaning one who has love and Chumbati kissing, these two words give rise to the Nayika Vyavahara. And that Nayika Vyavahara is not the Prastutam here. But the speaker has that Nayika Vyavahara in mind, and then only he describes the Prakrita contextual scene. That is why we need the non-context to make the context even more beautiful. Okay, this suggestion is sometimes confused as dhvani, but the dhvani is not as beautiful here. The Nayakaha Nayikam Chumbati Ityatra tu Chamatkaraha Nasti. That adds more beauty to the present Vachyartha. Then because of that, this is more closer to Dhvani than regular Upama Alankara or anything of that sort. So this is a very special kind of Alankara in that sense. Otherwise, it is only a normal Artha Alankara. Prastute. Now we have to explain the words in the shloka. So prastute, prastuta vrittante varnyamane, when the context is being described. Visheshana samyat, the Visheshanam becomes equal for both the prastutam and the aprastutam. That is raktaha, chandramaha ityatra raktavarnaha chandraha ityuktam. तथा अप्रस्तुते यदि नायक व्यवहारं सूचयामः तर्हि तत्र अनुरागयुक्तः नायकः इति विशेषणसाम्यात् तत्र you can link both stories here. Visheshana-samyat, because of the similarity between the Visheshana, or the same Visheshana is being applied for both Prastutam and Aprastutam. Aprastutasya, aprastuta vrittantasya, parispurtihi, pratitihi, bhavati. So there is the indication or an understanding of the aprastuta, non-contextual. When that happens, it is called Samasokti. Samasena sankshepena prastuta aprastutayoho uktihi iti anvartha samjna. So samasena sankshepena, in a nutshell, you are actually combining both the aprastutam and the prastutam in this case. So this is called Samasokti iti anvartha samjna. The name itself suggests it. Ayam raktaha chandramaha aindriyaha prachidishaha mukham prarambha bhagam chumbati sprishati pashya iti udaharanam. So this is the example here. Ayam raktaha chandramaha aindriyaha mukham. Prachidishaha mukham. Mukham is prarambha bhagam. The face of the eastern solar chain. It is the beginning portion of the eastern direction. So as it is rising, it seems as if it is, imagine the east is like an Ayikayaha mukham, and as it is facing down to look at the moon is rising up and it is kissing the east here. So sprishati, it is touching the east. So atra chandrodaya varnane prastute, when the description of the rising of the moon is being described, prastutam, that is the context, raktadi visheshana samyat, the visheshana, the adjectival features of rakta and the chumbati, these are things that can apply to both, because it is the same. Nayika nayaka vrittantasya aprastutasya pratitehe lakshana samanvayaha. The idea of non-contextual story between a nayika and a nayaka comes to the mind. Parispurtihi, it comes to the mind immediately. Hence, it is Samasokti. Tathahi, what is the meaning of those rakta shabda, etc.? Rakta shabdasya sleshena lohita anurakta sadharanyat. The word rakta can mean both lohita, rakta varna, and anurakta, love, prema, sadharanyat. Because of this similarity, mukha shabdasya prarambha vadana sadharanyat. Mukham can mean the beginning, it can also mean face. So at the beginning of the east, or the face of an Ayika. Chumbati ityasya samsparsha vadana samyoga sadharanyat. The word chumbati can mean either just touching, or it can also mean vadana samyoga, kissing. So chandramaha shabdagata pullingena. Chandramaha iti shabde lingam to pullingam. So the word also gives rise to that Nayika Nayaka Bhava. The one is in Pullinga, the other is in Strilinga. Aindri Shabdagata Strilingena, Chandrama Shabdagata Pullingena. Tat Pratipadya Indra Sambandhitvena Paravanita Sakta Kamuka Vrittantaha Pratiyate. Another idea that comes here is Aindri Mukham Chandraha Chumbati. It is like a Nayaka who is approaching a Nayika who belongs to someone else. Aindri, Indrasya Sambandhi. So Indrasya iyam iti aindri, one who belongs to another Vanita. And this Chandra is like a Dhurtanayaka who is trying to approach a Nayika who actually belongs to someone else. So this Paravanita Sakta Kamuka Vrittantaha Pratiyate. This story is also understood from this Vyavahara because of Aindri. Sacha Pratitaha Artaha Prastutamev Chandrodaya Vrittantam Upaskaroti iti alankaratvam. This idea which is suggested, that suggested idea upaskaroti, it only embellishes the prastuta Chandrodaya Vrittantam. It only embellishes or beautifies the contextual description of Chandrodaya. Iti alankaratvam. Samasoktau aprastuta vyavahara samaropaha rupaketu aprastuta rupa samaropaha. So in Samasokti, you can't have Rupakam here at all, because in Rupakam you have two different objects and you are superimposing one object over the other. Here you need an entire story weaving here. The whole Prakritam will give rise to another story, which is the Aprakritam. And that story is being superimposed upon the Prakritam. And it becomes even more beautiful. That's all. Okay. Is that clear?
So can you explain one more time why this is not Dhwani directly, and or how it is close to Dhwani?
So whenever there is a suggestion, we immediately say, oh, there is a suggestion of Nayika Vyavahara. But what is that suggestion? Do we need that suggestion here? We don't need, we need that suggestion to make this Prakritam more beautiful. Okay, that suggestion should be even more beautiful for it to be classified as Dhvani. Okay, that sort of a Vyavahara is not here. The Prakritam is more beautiful. Describing the Chandrodaya in this manner is even more beautiful. And the actual Dhvani, if you take from this, is if it is a Nayaka who is trying to describe this scene to the Nayika, he is trying to reveal his intention here. That intention again is not Chamatkara Yuktam here. So there are a set of alankaras where there is a prakritam or an aprakritam which is in the vachyartha, and there is a prakritam or aprakritam in the vyangyartha. Why can we not take these as dhvani? We cannot, because the vachyartham becomes even more beautiful than the vyangyartha. You can take it as gunibhuta vyangya. That's fine.
Okay, so let's say
and
that
this Dhvani is not good because of that only. The Paravanita Saktaka Mukha Vrittantaha, that is the Pratitihi, that's why it is not Dhvani.
No,
not anything. The morality of the act. It's
not at all about that. There is no morality in Alankara Shastra. The kaiti vichu varno. There are many suggestions of all of these things, so don't even look at that. Ethics alla inge vanda.
Dhvani is good or not is depending upon the beauty of the Dhvani, and that's not even if it's good. I mean the beauty of the Dhvani, the chamatkara it brings, not the goodness is not goodness or badness. But let's go back to the situation. So let's say that there are a pair of lovers on a beach, and there are a couple of observers who are just coming out, who are watching them from afar, and one of the observers knows those two lovers, and now he's conveying the suggestion to his friend who's with him that in a covert manner that actually I know those two people, they are Paravanita and this thing, and now he says, in a way that okay, Aindri Mukham Pashya Raktaschumbadi Chandrama. So he's conveying the information to his friend that actually those two are not. One of them is the wife of some other guy. So in this case, would it become Dhvani?
Then I, as a reader of that shloka and the situation, if that entire context is given, then I can say, oh, what a clever expression. So the cleverness becomes the dhvani, it is a vastu dhvani.
The cleverness becomes the dhvani, and it's not the message of the vastu is that okay, so that this guy is not the lover of that girl. That is the vastu.
அதெல்லாம் வேண்டாம் எனக்கு இங்க வந்து the cleverness of the person who is trying to say this இருக்கே.
Oh, the reader க்கு சொல்றீங்களா?
reader க்கு.
For the reader. Oh, okay, that is the cleverness is dhvanyate. Okay, chaturah iti.
Yeah.
Vakchaturyam dvanyate iti va.
That's all.
Okay, okay. On the
That
other
is fine. In that case, there is Dwani. No
Okay.
questions about that.
But it's important to know what Dwani it is. I would never have guessed it. It is the Vakchaturyam that is being. Okay, I would have thought that it is the question that the thing that he's trying to convey covertly, that would be the Dwani, but no, you're saying
Vendame.
it's more
அது
deliberate
ஒண்ணும்
shade of
it's
meaning.
அவ்வளவுதான். It's if he had, instead of saying, சாத்து parastri vartate eshaha tu anyastriyam, he approaches, there is no beauty in that.
Yeah, there's no beauty in that. Yeah.
The beauty is this man has tried to convey that situation in a very clever manner. அந்த இது மாதிரி கசிவான பபதி ரோஷோ திருஷ்டுவா பிரியாயாக சப்ரண மதரம்னு ஒரு ஸ்லோகம் உண்டு. அது மாதிரி.
Suppose the same situation is occurring. Now the two gentlemen are discussing the behavior of somebody else, a pair of lovers. And the name of those two lovers comes up in the conversation. They're sitting inside the room. It's daytime. Okay. And and this guy suddenly he says, when discussing about them, that the prastutam is the two lovers, but then he suddenly says Aindri Mukham Pashya Raktesh Shumbat Chandrama, like in the sense that can you convert this into aprastuta prashamsa is my question. That's what I was trying to do.
Oh, aprastuta prashamsa.
Can you flip the coin and say actually he has in mind both of the
context தானே பொறுத்து இருக்கு.
Can flip it easily, right? The same sentence. You can flip it and say it's actually aprastuta prashamsa in this context.
Yes, you can. But the context should be mentioned there. That's how that ellame vyakyata should have that capability to describe it in that manner.
So unlike upama and rupakam, where there's no such flip, it's upama will be upama, rupakam will be rupakam, pretty clear. Here the context will actually determine whether it goes into Samasokti or aprastuta prashamsa.
Yes, it will. Okay. Oh, சரி. வியாவல்கத் குஜபாரம் ஆகுல கச்சம் வியாலோல ஹாராவலி பிரேங்கத் குண்டல சோபி கண்டல யுகலம் பிரஸ்வேதி வக்த்ராம்புஜம் சஸ்வத்தத்த கரப்பிரஹாரம் அதிக ஸ்வாசம் ரசாத் ஏதயா யஸ்மாத் கந்துக சாதரம் சுபகயா சம்சேவ்யசே தத் கிருதி. A Nayaka is describing how Naika, a lady, is playing with a ball here. So Kanduka, he is addressing the Kanduka here. Think about, if you have read Shakuntalam, there is the shloka of Chalapangam Drishtim Sprishasi Bahusho Vepatumatim. Dushyanta is addressing the bee which keeps coming near Shakuntala and trying to touch her constantly. It is like a youth who is trying to approach a Naika, a beautiful lady. And Dushyanta here is looking at that scene and he is saying, see, I am thinking about whether this woman is right to approach or not. Is she a Kshatriya woman or not? But oh, Bhramara, B, you seem to have gotten down to action here, and you are touching her lips and ears and all that, and her eyes and everything. Tvam kalu kriti, you are the more fortunate person, because you, instead of sitting back and thinking, analyzing the situation, you have already gotten down to action here. Okay, very similar to that shloka. Kanduka, hey Kanduka, he's addressing that ball and he is saying, Subhagaya Yasmat, because of the reason that by this lady, Subhagaya, by this fortunate lady, Sadaram Samsevyase, you are being attended to with great concentration. Tat kriti, tasmat tvam eva kriti. Hence, you are the most fortunate person. Kriti ityukte, one who has completed, achieved what it has to achieve. So I am just sitting here and looking at that scene, whereas you have achieved whatever you want to. So the description here, the rest are all adjectives to the Subhagaya, to the lady. And it is also she Sadaram Samsevyase, Katham Samsevyase, everything is a Kriya Visheshanam to the Sevanam. So you are being attended to in such a manner by the lady. And how is she? Etaya rasat, with great concentration and with love here. Rasat, with passion. Etaya subhagaya tvam samsevya. Say, you are being served in such a manner that Vyavalgat kuchabharam, her chest is Vyavalgata is heaving up and down. So when a lady is playing with the ball, imagine she is playing with in the dribbling with a basketball, right? So something like that. So her chest is heaving because of that. So Vyavalgata kuchabharam. Akula kacham. Her hair is akulam. It is very kalangirk. Other it is அங்கங்க செதறி இருக்கு அப்படிங்கிறோம் இல்லையா ஆகுலம். It is not neatly tied down, but it is disheveled hair. Akula kacham. Vyalola haravali. There is a necklace that she is wearing which is also moving here and there. Prenkhat kundala shobhi gandala yugalam, ganda yugalam. Both her cheeks are shobhi, very beautiful because of the kundalam, the earrings that keep moving up and down. It is coming and hitting her cheeks also. So the necklace is moving. You are being served in a manner that her necklace is moving. Everything is a kriya visheshanam here. Adinalda it is in napunsakalingam dvitiya vachanam. Okay, so you are being served in such a manner that her breasts are heaving here and her hair is disheveled. Prenkat kundala shobhiganda yugalam. Both her cheeks seem to shine because of the hitting of the earrings. Prasvedi vaktra ambujam. Her face, which is like a lotus, is also sweating here. Shashwat datta karapraharam. Lightly she is also using her hand to hit the ball. So Shashwat, again and again she is datta karapraharam. She is giving a beating with her hand in a very soft manner. So adhika shwasam. Her breathing is also adhikam here. In this manner, you are being served by that lady, and so tasmat tvam kriti. Atra kanduka krida vrittante varnyamane. So this is the varnana is being done about the kanduka krida, the playing with the ball here. That is the prastutam here. Vyavalgat kuchabharam ityadi kriya visheshana samyat. In the earlier shloka, we saw there was slesha, right? Every visheshana that was used for either the aindri mukham or zaktaha, chumbati, ityadikam tu tatra mukham, all of these visheshanas, all of these words had a double meaning there. Whereas in this, there is no double meaning. It is only giving rise to the way, a nayaka who is looking at this krida that is happening in front of him. He feels that the Kanduka has achieved what he wants to achieve. It is like seeing that girl in lovemaking, and as she will feel very tired during that time, or when she is heaving or her hair is disheveled during that time, Rati Kridayam, Yatha Sa Bhavati Tatha Atra. He is picturing her in that scene and how it would be. In that manner, he is also giving us that picture about how the lady would be during that Ratikeli. Ityadi kriya visheshana samyat. Because of all these kriya visheshanas, viparita rata asakta nayika vrittantaha pratiyate. Viparita ratam here involves the Nayika being on top and the Nayaka lying down. So which means that is how she makes a greater effort, and so her necklace moving and all that is also seen by the Nayaka here. So Purva Udaharane Visheshanani Slishtani Atratu Shlesham Vinaiva Prakrita Aprakritayoho Anugatani. Here by Sadrishyam, all of these things can apply to a woman who is also in the process of that. Sambhoga madhye sa katham bhavet athava sambhoga ante sa katham bhavet iti tatra varnana asmakam manasi udbhuta bhavati. Then the jealous nature, he feels jealous of the Kanduka here, the Nayaka or the onlooker who looks at this Kanduka Krida. He feels jealous about the ball being able to enjoy this, whereas he is only, he has not been able to enjoy that. So there is no slesha here. Without slesha, prakrita aprakrita yoho anugatani. That is, it beautifully fits both the context and the non-context. Iti bhedaha. Sarupyat aprastuta vrittanta pratitehe udaharanam anubandhe drashtavyam. Sarupyat. So there are 2-3 categories that he says here. Adu innu alaga irukum. So inge vandu sleshena is the first variety. The next one is anugatam, anugamitaya. Anugamitayana, it fits both cases. That's what he says. And sadrishyam is the next one. Samasa bheda ashrayanam. These are the different types of samasokti that he gives. But for Samartha level, we don't need so many varieties here. So I think the other example he gives is from Uttaramacharitam. That is a beautiful example. But more than these examples, you know what? Panini has written a couple of shlokas. The most famous shloka that he has written is Anuragavati Sandhya Divasastat Purassaraha Tathapina Samagamaha Aho Daivagatis Chitra Tathapina Samagamaha. This is a very beautiful example of Samasokti here. Let me see if I can take that. So this is in Chandraloka. He has given this as an example of even though there is Vyangyam, it is still apradhana. So that's why I said this is very close to Dhwani. Anuragavati Sandhya. So there are a couple of set of shlokas that Panini has composed, and it is popularly found, but there is no proper text that we have. But this we know that it is composed by him, our grammar expert. So Anuragavati Sandhya. Sandhya Kalaha Sandhya Ityeva Uktam. So this is the Strilingam here itself gives us the idea of Naika here. Anuragavati Sandhya. Divasaha Tat Purassaraha. The day is right in front of her. Tat Purassaraha Sandhyayaha Purassaraha Eva. So imagine the day is almost gone and Sandhya Kalam is coming in. He wants to just describe that dusk time. Okay, the Sandhya Kala. Sandhya is Anuragavati. It is very reddish in color. At the same time, it is a Slesha only here. So Anuragavati is, she is also very passionate towards whatever. She is a person with the passion here. So Anuragavati Sandhya. Divasaha Tat Purassaraha. And the day is also not far off. It is right in front of her. But look at Daivagati. Look at Vidhi. Kidrik, Tathapina Samagamaha, but they both can never meet at all. There is never a time when you can say, oh, the daytime is also there and Sandhya have met together, and it is that Naika Vrittanta actually embellishes this Sandhya Kala Varnana. It's a very beautiful shlokam. He says, Devagatihi Kidrikaho, Devagatis Chitra iti, there is a different patham. The Daivagatihi, the Vidhi is such that these two can never meet at all. Even though she is also with love towards him, and Divasaha, the daytime is also right in front of her, still they are unable to meet.
So the prastutam here is, let's say that the person is looking at the evening time.
Yes.
And he's describing the beauty of the evening, and so he's saying Anuragavati Sandhya, and so he's saying, but then what will be the aprastutam that is being suggested, that there are two lovers who can never meet?
Yes.
But that might just be an imagination. It may not be that there are really two lovers.
Correct.
It's just a suggestion of two lovers who cannot meet. That's all.
Yes. But Vachyaseva Charutvam. Illaya, Adinala. That two lovers cannot meet. There are so many people who meet, who don't meet. That is something which is we don't need.
Yeah, here it's the beauty of the how he's put it, how he's captured the scene.
Yeah.
And the other ones in the Kuvalayananda are also quite beautiful, like the drama, the Pulina, right?
Mama. அது ரொம்ப அழகான ஆசியான புலினா இல்லையா அந்த புரா யத்ர ஸ்ரோதஹ
கொஞ்சம் ரேசி எக்ஸாம்பிள் போட்டுருக்காங்க இப்ப இத விட்டுட்டு ஒரு நல்ல எக்ஸாம்பிள் போட்டுடலாம்
This is an Uttarama Charitam where Rama describes the Nadi Srota. See, Rama enters Dandakaranyam after a long period. So he came to Dandakaranyam with Sita during his Vanavasam. And then he again comes back after sending away Sita when she was Garbhavati. He again comes back to Dandakaranyam because a Vipra comes to his doorstep and says, my cow was killed or my son was killed. So this is not an age for a young child to be killed. So some adharma is happening in your country. So you have to go and follow it up. So Rama goes to Dandakaranyam with the news that someone who is not of the first three varnas is doing tapas here, or not of the first varna. He is doing tapas, right? And that is Shambhuka who is doing tapas. And in order to search for him, he comes to Dandakaranyam. When he sees the Dandakaranya, he sees the difference between the how it was before and how it is now. So he's describing the change of scenery. Pura yatra srotaha pulinam adhuna tatra saritam viparyasam yato ghana virala bhavaha kshitiruham bahor drishtam kalat aparamiva manye vanamidam niveshaha shailanam tadidam iti buddhim dridayati tadidam iti buddhim dridayati. It is the same thing. Iti buddhim dridayati. This is the thing that is reinforced in my mind. He says pura yatra srotaha aduna tatra pura yatra saritam srotaha asit, where there was a flow of river, where there was a river pravaha, saritam srotaha, the nadi pravaha asit, tatraiva aduna pulinam vartate. There is only sandy beaches there. That is, the course of the river has changed. Viparyasam yataha ghana viralabhavaha kshitiruham. Kshitiruham tarunam ghana bhavaha viralabhavaha. So wherever there were a lot of trees, and where there were very sparse trees, that whole idea has become reversed here. Viparyasam yataha. So there was a great foliage. There the trees have all been reduced. So people come and cut the trees for firewood, etc. Maybe, or you don't know what happens, or in the vashat, vatavarana vashat, tatra there could have been typhoon, hurricane, something would have removed some trees. So wherever ghana vrikshanam ghanabhavaha asit, dridha kananam asit, tatra tu adhuna viralabhavaha. And viralabhava, where there was a clearing, that has completely been filled up with trees right now. Bahoho kalat drishtam aparam iva vanam idam iti manye. Because I am seeing this Dandakaranyam after a long time, it doesn't look like Dandakaranyam at all for me. It seems as if it is another vana, another forest. Then how do you recognize that it is Dandakaranyam, and why did Rama come in here? Shailanam niveshaha tat idam iti buddhim dridayati. My mind is reinforced that this is Dandakaranya because the mountains are the same. The mountains cannot change. Right? So Shailanam niveshaha, the arrangement of the mountains tells me that this place is the same vanam. Otherwise, if I look at the nadi pravaha or the trees, I don't see the same Dandakaranyam or the same markers here. It is completely changed. Imagine. So this is the Prastutam here. Prastutam is just Rama describing Dandakaranyam, saying that it is not as it was before. See, you go to your hometown after 10 years, this is the experience that you will have. Wherever you thought there was a restaurant, that restaurant is gone today. Some other big, huge building has come. Where you thought there were five houses, those houses were all gone, and there are sky-rised buildings are there, or a row of shops are there. The whole road has been expanded, or some roads have become really, in your mind, in my mind, I used to think Mount Road was so big. Now with all the construction and everything, that Mount Road seems so small right now. So in your mind, whatever was Ghana Bhavaha, now it has become Virala Bhavaha. Whatever was Viralam, now it has become different. So for anybody, Grama Nagara Vyavastha api evam eva vartate. Everybody goes through this nostalgic thing. So it's applicable to many situations. Namadri. Even with friendships, I feel, even with people where you thought there was a pravaham of friendship or communication, suddenly there is nothing. There is just a dry, sandy banks, rough kind of behavior with people. Where you thought there was a thick friendship, suddenly there is nothing there. With whom you thought you would never be friends, after 30 years you're meeting them and suddenly you've become thick friends. It is quite possible that way also. So a much more beautiful example of Samasokti.
So here the Prastutam is pretty clear, like he's describing the scenes that have changed due to the passage of time. But then what is the Aprastutam?
Aprastutam da namak, it's to the, actually I would put it more in the case of anything. எது வேணாலும் எடுத்துக்கலாமே நம்ம. அதுதான் சொல்ல கிராம நகர வியவஸ்தா து அப்ரஸ்துதம் here.
என்ன நகர கிராம நகர வியவஸ்தா?
கிராம நகர வியவஸ்தாம் பாருங்க பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு குடும்பம் இல்லையா, குடும்ப கத தனாதி சம்ருத்தி அசம்ருத்தி அத சொல்றாருங்க. குடும்பி, just as how a person who is in the grihasthashrama, his dhanam, the wealth can increase and decrease எப்படி வேணாலும் அப்படிங்கிற பிரஸ்துதம் அப்ரஸ்துதத்தை. கிராம நகர விற்த்தாந்தः. As the wealth of a householder increases, the city, the village can slowly be turned into a town. And if the wealth of the people in that town are slowly coming down, then it can be reduced to a small nagaram. Tanjavur versus Kumbakonam யோசிச்சு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். They all thought at one point Tanjavur is the most fertile place, and it was a bigger town, bigger city when compared to Kumbakonam. But then today Kumbakonam is a much bigger city than Tanjavur. அதுக்கு சொல்லலாம்.
So okay, one question. So if it
no, I don't agree.
தஞ்சாவூர் பெருசா இருக்கு, நிறைய ஸ்பேஸ் இருந்தா கூட more activity in Kumbakonam.
So take the first example, Indri Mukham Pashya. And let's say that the poet who's writing this in a story, he can very well suggest an aprastutam by saying the prastutam in the story. In the prastutam, it's a couple of characters, and one of them shows the moon, and then the aprastutam is actually meant by the poet. It could be that. But here, it seems to me that the aprastutam is only in the mind of the reader. It may not be meant by the poet. Like this Grama Nagara Vyavastha.
Rama may not have meant it. But
it's not in the context. That's what I'm saying.
Bhavabhuti may have meant it. அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக இது எடுக்கிறார்.
Bhavabhuti may have meant it. நம்ம மனசுக்கு அப்படி தோணுது கிராம நகர வியவஸ்தான்னு.
See, Bhavabhuti was always a person who was in touch with the social conditions at that point of time. So if you read his Uttarramacharitam, you'll understand. எதை எடுத்தாலுமே the Vyavahara, we don't, when it is a drama, we don't know how the characters of Rama, Kausalya or Janaka behaved in those days, right? He is trying to put in the social ideas into that drama. அப்படிதான் அந்த கண்ணோட்டத்துல தானே கவி எழுதுறாரு அது இல்லையா? So you see, Kausalya and Janaka would be sitting down and looking at the two kids who are playing. They are Lavakusha. அப்படியே ராமனோட முகம் இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்குல்ல அப்படின்பா. இது வந்து பாரு சீத்தை சிரிக்கிறச்சே எப்படி இருந்தது அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கா பாரு. இப்படி கௌசல்யாவும் ஜனகரும் பேசிட்டு இருந்திருப்பா, தெரியாது நமக்கு.
தெரியாது. ஆமா.
So he is always a person who is in touch with the social situation. Whereas Kalidasanla அப்படி பார்க்கவே மாட்டோம். You look at Kalidasa's play, he will be involved in that particular character and அத சொல்றதுல தான் இருப்பார்.
ஸ்டோரி இருப்பார் அவரு. இவர் கொஞ்சம் he is like kind of talking to the reader.
You master at it.
So it's not that when Rama is saying these words, it's not that Rama means something else. Rama is just wondering at the passage of time.
Yes.
But to us, and maybe Bhavabhuti is talking to us and telling us that, look, this is how it occurs in life. Okay.
அது கவியினுடைய மகாத்மியம். You need to know the style of the poet also to understand this.
Because what Rama is saying here is, in the character in the story, Rama is just a little bit sad that time has passed. Sadness is suggested by this, right?
Yeah, and that he is not able to recognize the Aranyam where he spent some wonderful times with Sita. That's foremost in his mind.
I mean, just knowing that Rama is saying this, to my mind, it brings a flavor of sadness to this, right? So is that, would you please say that is Dwani?
It is in the context of the entire Kavyam, and definitely this adds to the Karuna Rasam, which will be embellished in the third act. This is in the second act. Okay, இதெல்லாம் வந்து it leads to the Ekavarasa Karunayeva in the third act.
ஆனா இங்க கருணா, I mean துவன்யதேவான சோகஹ துவன்யதேவ பாவத்வனிய
அது சொல்ல முடியாது இங்க.
சொல்ல முடியாதா?
எனக்கு அவ்வளவு தூரம் பாவமா இல்ல. ஏன்னா உங்களுக்கு வாட்சியார்த்தம் தான் அவ்வளவு இன்னும் பியூட்டிஃபுல்லா இருக்கு.
ஓகே
ஓகே. So இது சமாசோக்தியே கொஞ்சம் டைம் எடுத்துருத்தோம். So we'll do பரிகரா அங்ககோர next class. சரியா? Actually ஆமா, ரெண்டுத்தையும் சேர்த்து பண்ணா the parikara and parikara ankura you have to read together so that you understand the difference between the two. One is sabhipraya visheshane, the other is sabhipraya visheshye. அப்படி வரும். ஓகே.